I mean, it's like, well, God's plan, really? Oh, well, I'll pray for you. Well, why? Are you so arrogant to think that whatever the fuck it is you want that is going to be so intuitive that God's going to be like, maybe I should rethink my plan. You know what? You're going to be the exception.
Yeah, but that's the thing is it's all about assigning blame elsewhere. Honestly, giving the responsibility up to someone or something else, and that's where the problem I have. I don't have a problem with faith, but I do have a problem with religion.
Organized religion.
Well, no, just religion. Because religion and faith are two different things in my book. Okay, faith is a firmly held belief. Religion is an organization or organized way of thinking based on a specific belief. In religion, they teach you the idea that if you give everything to God, He will take care of you, okay? The idea that if you give everything over to Him, then He takes the responsibility for your life. Okay, well, He obviously didn't take the responsibility when you ran that stop sign and mowed down that car, or that bicyclist, or that kid crossing the street, or when you went around the friggin' school bus and you nailed some kid coming out of the side of it.
So God's a sadist?
Could be. Yeah, we know he's a prick. So,
goddamn.
But I mean, just in general, it's a way to, number one, make you feel guilty so that you follow specific rules, and two, to make you give up your burden of responsibility based on a higher calling or based on a higher purpose, ideal, person, blah blah blah. So that's, to me, is where we have a problem with religion, because you have all these politicians that talk about how devout Christians they are, and then they cut food stamps because the poor don't matter. Or they cut health care because the sick don't matter. When in the Bible, they're supposed to be helping the sick and helping the poor and taking care of the infirm and the elderly. And here we are in the United States now, just fucking mowing them all down. Good job.
Survival of the fittest.
Good job, guys. You're really following that whole Bible thing.
They are
trying to explain something, and yeah.
Well, that's the funny thing is, realistically, like you said, they are kind of following it. And people say, "Well, do you read the Bible?" Well, which version? I mean, seriously.
Let's see. We have the New International Standard Version. We have the King James Version.
How many times are they going to fucking rewrite the same thing?
Well, look at the ones that I have on the shelf. Okay, so we have the New International Version.
That's JavaScript. Never mind.
There's the King James Version. For those of you who don't know, I actually have a lot of books on religion just as a study thing for me. So, yeah, I've got the King James. I've got the New International Standard Version. I've got the Book of Mormon. I've got the Lighthouse
Which is hard
book
to find,
somewhere.
actually.
The Witch's Bible is always a really good reading for those of you that really want to be depressed about, Christianity and the Jesus Dynasty.
The Book of Errancy. Where's that?
Encyclopedia of Biblical Errancy.
There it is.
I've got a whole bunch of these different books and stuff like that. So,
I'll come down to Scholarly Library one of these days.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty kind of cool collection. I mean, honestly.
I've just been, picking these things up here and there and everywhere, just for fun. It's been a hoot, that kind of thing. But, I think that we spend so much time trying to push off our own responsibilities to others that we forget to take the responsibility for ourselves. It's real easy to say, well, I don't have a job because those Mexicans came in and took my job. Well, yeah, because you were picking fruit in the field before they came over here, right? Oh, no, you were an auto mechanic that lost his job because it went automation. Yeah, okay, whatever. So it's just easier, and that's the way politicians play into that, is they take that lack of responsibility and turn it into fear. And then they use that fear to get you to vote for them. And then they go into the office and they screw things up. And that's where we come into life and how things work.
And that's pretty much where we're at right now. I mean, seriously, people are like, oh.
Some of us are like that right now. You're just sitting there and making fun.
I was going to make more drinks.
Yeah, she was going to make more drinks, but now she's not.
No, well, now I'm going to make a drink.
She's going to make a drink. Oh, thank you, sweetie. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Are you going to have nothing? But, so I think if we spent a lot more time actually taking responsibility for ourselves, accepting responsibility for things as opposed to trying to slough them off under the guise of, oh, they hurt my feelings. And quit acting like we need a safe place to heal whenever we get upset by the person next door who called us names.
Blue hairs.
I've been called shitloads of names, and I really don't give a shit because I know who I am, and I stand up for who I am. And if somebody doesn't like me, hey, that's their choice. You know, they do not understand the awesomeness that they are giving up by not liking me.
Well, like I tell people, if you're not feeding me,
Awesomeness?
fucking me, or financing me, I really have very little interest in what you have to say because it's irrelevant to me.
Well, yeah, but you say that to me all the time, and I'm doing all that. So, yeah. Funny how that works.
But no, I mean, seriously, you can't expect people to all of a sudden want to take a personal sense of responsibility when they're still going to the same bullshit churches and listening to the same bullshit news and talking to the same uneducated people that are all in their same circle. I mean, it's like we got to find a way to
Right. But how do you break
them
that?
out of that.
And that's one of the reasons why we do this show. How do we break people out of that atmosphere where they stop listening to the norm or stop listening to their comfort zone and actually moving out to try
Brownie
to find...
makes ball gags and
Yeah,
clown porn.
Yeah, ball gags, Brownie makes some clown porn. Yeah. Deadpool, for those of you that are listening.
Fuck you, Deadpool.
So, but yeah, I mean, you can't lead a horse to water, and you can't make him drink, right?
Well, you can lead them there, but yeah,
you can
can't
lead
make
the
'em
horse to
drink.
water, but you can't make him drink. Okay, well, you can push him in, and then maybe they'll drink as they're drowning. But still, from general, I mean, you can't. And that's why there are just people out there that will never be reached. They will constantly and forevermore follow their own belief system and their own ideas, and anything that goes against that they will refuse to believe, even if it is fact proven to them over and over again.
And these are the people that are impacting our lives and fucking our lives up because they can't see reason, or too stupid to see reason, or have just had way too much Kool-Aid.
Or they need to drink more Kool-Aid.
Seriously. It's like, I don't mind if you're stupid, just don't have an impact on my life,
Well,
which clearly it doesn't work.
Yeah, and I think that's where we come into a problem, is we get too much, engaged in the idea that it's always, well, the idea is it's always easier to blame somebody else. It's always easier to shove your responsibility onto somebody else so that you do not have the burden of having to deal with it. And it's become normal in our society to do that. And until we can get people to actually start paying attention, to start accepting their own personal responsibility. And that's the funny thing, too, is because a lot of these people that are in office right now talk about personal responsibility and then, of course, blame everybody else whenever they do something stupid. So there you go. That's politics in action, right? It's not science in action, because science would be more like clearing out the shallow end of the gene pool as opposed to having a bunch of ignorant politicians running the world. But that's just me. And here we have
I
that.
think we need more Darwin Award winners.
Yeah, not just the honorable mentions, the actual Darwin Awards. Sorry, I was actually trying to read a message.
Okay, so
here.
I'm going to read this to the room, or to the radio real quick, because we've only got about 6 more minutes and we got to get off the air or we get cut off. It says, sounds like you guys are talking about the echo chamber effect that has been a major problem since the introduction of social media. Case in point, wife and I usually cover our social justice warriors from Tumblr. They're so used to the echo chamber of their favorite websites that anything that contradicts their mindset is somehow a conspiracy and operate via attacking the individual rather than the argument. That pretty much covers it. I mean, that covers pretty much exactly what we're talking about.
Uh-huh.
It is. It's a bubble echo chamber out there, and people, and thank you for making that point, Mr. T, or Mr. JT, or well, whatever the fuck I'm going to call you. I'll call you some other names later, or I'll have Kara call you names, one of the two. But yeah, it does make a specific point, is that there's a group of people out there on both sides of the aisle in many different factions, where no matter what you say and how you say it, what facts you bring to the table, it will never change their mind. And those people are lost. We have to give them up. We can't keep dragging ourselves down by people that will never change, that refuse to change. So we have to find a way around that. And we have to seek out those that you can have logical discourse with, where you can actually have the conversation without turning it into a friggin' nightmare. How do you find those folks? Not on Fox News, that's for sure. Because, it doesn't work that way. You just have to keep working at it. I mean, that's the thing, is you have to start getting in circles online and in person, have interpersonal communication skills where you actually talk to people face-to-face as opposed to online. Because online, number one, you don't get any kind of proper inflection because it's just text. So you don't always know exactly how to take something that somebody says. Somebody may be joking on their end and you may take offense. So it's the best way to do it, and something that we really need to get back to is actually having conversations in person, interpersonal communication, where we actually sit, we discuss, we talk, and we come up with ideas. Until we get back to doing that, we are stuck in the social media bubble of shit that we have given ourselves over the past 10 years. Awesome, isn't it?
Totally.
So with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and play our PSA on the way out and make some more drinks and crawl into bed because we've been up since 3 a.m. for work. And we hope that everybody has a great weekend. For those of you that in Arizona, it is supposed to be raining, 90% chance of rain tomorrow, 50% on Sunday. So be careful if you're out there driving around and stuff. If you're in low areas, there are some flood advisories up in the northern Phoenix area, I believe. Here, let me make sure. Alexa, weather conditions for the weekend. She's being belligerent. Alexa, what is the current weather?
In Phoenix, there's a flash flood watch in effect Saturday, February 18th, 11 a.m. to Sunday, February 19th, 7 a.m. The current weather is 68 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, you can look for showers, with a low of 59 degrees.
Gosh, she's got so much cool information in there, doesn't she? So, and those of you in other areas, those of you in California, you're getting swamped right now, be careful. Do not go into flooded streets with your vehicles because you will get stuck and you could get washed away. Those of you in the Northeast that are in thunderstorms and snowstorms and blizzards and shit, stay warm, keep inside, make sure you have plenty of food, water, and propane or whatever it is kind of fuel you need to stay warm. And for those of you that just don't give a shit, I really hope you get your head out of your ass. So, good night. Have a good weekend. We will talk to you again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And we will do hopefully a more interesting show. You have been listening to Progressive Voices of Arizona, hosted by Scott and Kara Pryor. We hope that you will join us again next week as we try to bring some interesting and lively conversation to the airwaves. It is important that people start communicating, start talking, and start treating each other as individuals with dignity. Our show begins each week at 6 p.m. Arizona time. So come on out, join us, be a part of the conversation, and let's make America change to benefit us all.